Hello, everyone. I am Kanisha Grayson, founder and CEO of The Art of Applying. And The Art of Applying is a company that helps people from all over the world get into the world's best grad schools and get money to pay for it. Today, we are here to tell the amazing, wonderful success story of our client, Harman. Hi, Harman.
Hi, Kanisha. Nice to be here.
Oh, so nice to have you here. As you know, we start all of our client calls with celebration. And I want to celebrate all the places that you've gotten in. And so if you can tell us, we would love to know, where you got in and what we're celebrating today.
Right. Firstly, I'm celebrating that I have something to look forward to, despite being in home quarantine right now. I at least have a silver lining to look forward to, which is grad school, which is something I'm really excited for. And luckily, I have a few amazing options lined up, all thanks to Art of Applying. So I have offers from Harvard Kennedy School for an MPP. I have an offer from SIPA at the Columbia University for an MPA. And I have an offer from Harris School of Public Policy at UChicago, again, for an MPP.
Amazing. Congratulations, Harman.
Thanks.
Did you get any scholarships or fellowships?
Yes, I did secure a $15,000 a year scholarship from the Harris School of Public Policy.
Nice. Okay, awesome. How do you feel?
I feel jubilant, to be honest. I did not imagine a year back that I would be able to say that I probably can attend one of these universities within a year, because grad school is something that I had been looking forward to since I graduated my undergrad, which was 4 years back. But I've just been so skeptical about applying and getting scared with the whole process and not being able to put my thoughts in a succinct manner. So I've delayed it, just throwing myself into work, not spending time on the GRE, not spending time on applications. But I'm so glad I finally decided to do it this year. And yeah, definitely got a lot of confidence doing it with a partner. Like The Art of Applying.
Wonderful. And it was our pleasure. It's been our pleasure to be your partner. So Harman, now what the people watching want to know is as much information as you want to share about your profile. So the kinds of things they'd love to know is your age, where you went to college, your GPA, or your class standing, your kind of your work experience, your GRE scores. Those are all the kind of numbers, as much as you want to share, that people would want to know.
Right. So I went to college in the UK at the University of Warwick, and I majored in economics. I took a class called Development Economics, focusing on the macro side of the subject in second year. And that's when I realized that even though the knowledge of economic theories is available to the whole world right now, it's how you shape that into policy, what drives the trajectories of different nations into different ways. And that's how I got interested in how do you transform knowing something about economics into actually having that help your country. And that was my introduction to economic policy per se. And then I got deeper into what kinds of policies exist, etc. And hence, after graduating, I wanted to return back home and work in the development sector. So I started out by interning with Teach for India as a research intern, and I went on to work with JPAL IFMR as a research associate, where I did all sorts of field work in all sorts of states in India. Enjoyed my time thoroughly, learned a lot about what field research looks like, what academic research looks like. But then I wanted to move into more, impact oriented areas. I'm sure research has its impact, but it takes time, and I'm more impatient. So I wanted to get into something where I can work and see that transform into something quicker. So I joined Teach for India again in their strategy team. And I worked there for about 2 years, learning all about how you can have great ideas, but implementation needs work too. And my belief in policy got stronger there, that I need to enter that field to get to my desired levels of impact in my career. And throughout this, I did want to attend grad school for public policy. That was the main aim. But about a year back, I had to join my family in their business because of an accident at home. But I'm glad I did, because that gave me a whole new perspective on how practices that are prevalent in the private sector could make the public sector even better. And that's how I got even more interested in the implementation side of things. And I decided to just give it a shot, apply for grad school, and see where I stand, where I get in.
That's right.
Yes, that's how I decided on the public policy degree and why I'm so excited to go there. In terms of GPA, I did not get something extraordinary. My GPA was a 3.5. Though in the UK, you do not follow the GPA system. So this is a rough conversion. I got a 2.1 in UK terms. And the GRE, I did not struggle too much with the GRE. I had already given it once before joining the Art of Applying program. My score was 328, where I got 167 on verbal and 161 on quant. And I decided to keep that score.
Yeah. Excellent. Awesome. Thanks for sharing all those details, Harman. Can you say in the words what a 2.1 is?
Right. A 2.1 in the UK is for anything above a 60% overall in your degree.
Okay. And what are, like, you know, upper class, second, whatever.
Right. So
yeah.
If you get a 70% and above, that means a first class degree in the UK. And if you get anywhere between 60% and 70%, that's a 2.1. That's an upper class honors, or a 2.1. If you get anywhere between a 50 and a 60, that's a 2.2. So that's a lower class honors degree, and anything below that is just a normal degree, no honors.
Okay, wow, the class system, that sounds very Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
So you have an upper class honors then?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, understood. Okay, awesome, wonderful. So Harman, when did you find the Art of Applying? How did you find us? And what resonated with you that made you reach out for help?
Right. I found Art of Applying on Facebook, actually. One of my classmates from high school had liked the page, and that's how it showed up on my feed. I went onto the website, explored a bit, listened to other people's stories who had worked with Art of Applying earlier, and really felt that this is exactly the help I need. I need not support in terms of what I need to do to get into policy schools, but how I need to put my story forward. And somebody who would understand my perspective on why I want to apply and help me write that, instead of giving me a packet of things that I need to check to write essays, etc. So I was looking for customized support, and that's what the Art of Applying program offered. And it sounded really interesting in the sense that they helped people who did not necessarily come from a very typical background. So the why for me, for my application, was that I had worked in development, yes, but I had pivoted to the private sector in the past 1 year. So how do I get that across to the schools that I am committed to the development sector still?
Yes.
So that really struck a note with me, the customized support and experience in helping people who might not have ideal trajectories to grad school and policy.
Wonderful. Oh, excellent. Okay. So you wanted us to help with your story and to join the application accelerator. You know, you had the breakthrough call. What did you think the breakthrough call was going to be like, and what was the experience of having the call like for you? Did anyone join for your call? Sorry to interrupt, Harman.
No worries. No, I did the call on my own, but I expected to get to know the program a bit better. And I realized that the people who I would be working with would also want to know me better, since we would be working on something for a long time together. So I just took it as a chat to just understand each other better. And that's exactly how it was. And it was helpful also in the sense that it started the process of clarification of my story in my head right there. So even before I joined the Art of Applying officially, just talking to someone from the team gave me a sense of how clearly I needed to think to put forth a strong application to grad schools.
That's right. Awesome. Okay. And so, you know, at the end of the breakthrough call, when your breakthrough coach is like, you know, Harman, now that I really understand your story, I feel 100% confident we can help you solve all these problems. You know, here's the tuition. How did you feel, and how did you think about the investment that you made? Did you feel scared? Were you like, oh my goodness, this is crazy? Or what was your thoughts and feelings?
Right. So when I heard about the amount, it was a bit scary at first. I would not deny that, but they give you ample time to think about it. And as I did think about it, I realized that if I'm going to give it only one shot to apply to grad school, it's worth it rather than wasting more years thinking about whether to apply or not. So I'm an economics student. I understand opportunity costs. So I would rather give it my best shot rather than try twice, thrice on my own and, end up feeling dejected. Just the emotional cost of not being able to give in a strong application and getting the rejections. So I decided that it was better to give it my best shot rather than take it in stages and, delay it for a few more years as I had been doing for the past few years.
That's right. Yeah. Good. Okay, wonderful. So in the application accelerator, every client has a one-on-one consultant and you work with them on your application process. I'd love to hear just kind of what that experience was like of having coaching calls, the private coaching calls with your consultant, as well as being able to ask them questions via your portal, and working on your essays with your consultant.
Right. So one thing that I found immensely helpful in the program is that we have our own internal system of deadlines going on. So which makes sure that you are prepared to submit that final application much before the deadline for the school. It makes you much more comfortable in your essays and in your approach to the whole process. And the fact that the art of applying is so good at getting back to you when you have any questions or you come up with roadblocks. Your consultants are there. You can always access the number of calls going on, group calls with other clients. It just builds like a community where you're not alone in it. You know that other people might be more accomplished than you, might have lesser experience than you, but everyone feels the anxiety of applying to grad school. So just that team spirit of doing it with a group of people rather than feeling I'm the only one going through this, it really helps. So now I live in India, so my time zones were completely opposite of the US. So most of the calls I had to listen recordings of them, but they still feel they still made you feel much more comfortable going through this because you heard people talking about the same concerns that you have. And it's a lot of consolement just listening to those calls.
Yeah.
And the one-on-one consultations with the coaches acted like a great soundboard for me and gave me a lot of clarity, which I don't think I would have achieved if I was thinking through this on my own.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I love hearing that. I am also hearing the man mowing the lawn outside. So I'm going to, if I can switch my audio. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let's see. I can, still using my, let's see if I can change over to all right, let's see. Are we back?
Yes.
I think it's.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, testing.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm going to pause the recording. Okay, so Harman, talk to us about the one-on-one sessions and the group sessions, if you were able to ever join the group sessions with the mindset coach. Had you ever had a session with a mindset coach? What was that like for you?
Right. For me, it was more about just talking about my internal fears and processes that you don't really talk on the consultant call, though you can, but you're more focused on the application itself on the consultant coaching calls. At least that's the way it was for me. But there's a lot of other anxieties going on inside while you're making the applications. So the mindset calls were great for me for that purpose. I remember discussing, how do you deal with the imposter syndrome, which has only gotten stronger since I got my acceptances. And
They
have,
made a mistake.
and I've come across the classmates that I might be joining, and I'm like, oh yes, I do not belong here. But I'm hoping that would go away in a few months, like it did with the application process. But yeah, for me, the mindset coaching calls were very helpful in tackling the whole, am I even good enough for this? Am I making a mistake by spending time on this? They helped me work through that. So that's a great addition to the program.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You also mentioned listening to the recordings of the group coaching calls. Did you have an opportunity to interact with, like, kind of on a one-on-one basis with other clients in the program, even though you mostly listen to recordings of the group coaching calls?
Right. I have interacted with a few clients after we all shared our acceptances, just to get in touch with your future classmates.
Oh,
and and it's been great. What I'm realizing is that the common thread that connects everyone at Art of Applying is that they really want to go to grad school with a purpose rather than just pursuing it for the sake of it.
That's right.
And it's really nice to talk to similarly driven people and plan for our future classes.
That's awesome. And so it sounds like you've chosen where you're going to go.
I'm still a bit conflicted.
Okay, well then I won't make you say anything. So
yeah.
Take your time to decide. Beautiful. Okay, and then other things in the program is the Q&A vault, the private client place where you can submit questions and see other clients' questions. Did you use that much? And if so, how was it valuable to you?
I did use that a lot, in fact, because so sometimes I would come across questions on a topic that I didn't have before I read that question. So that was really helpful because it helped me think deeper about something that I hadn't given that much thought prior to reading that question itself. So that way, I think I made a more robust judgment on how to go about the application process, because I was hearing from other people through the Q&A vault, and all these questions would also get answered by consultants at the Art of Applying. So you didn't have to look for answers, they were right there. So it's like a customized Google page for you for all your queries regarding the application process. So yeah, that was super helpful.
Okay, wonderful. Were the Writing Center calls at a time where you could even attend, or were they at like some crazy middle?
No, I did not attend any of the Writing Center.
Yeah, no worries. I think, let's see, maybe you could talk about how our green light process, what is our green light process, and for your application, essays, and resume, and how is it valuable for you?
Right. So the green light process, I would try and give you a gist, is that you work on your application with your consultant for n number of months before your actual deadline, but you submit it for a green light by the larger Art of Applying team, just to get few more eyes on your application before it goes out. And this deadline is usually about a month before your actual school deadline, just to catch any red herrings that might be in your application that you and both your consultant might have missed. So I felt that was a great way of doing that, because since my consultant has been listening to me from the start and we've been thinking through essays together, they tend to develop the same biases that I might have towards the content. So getting fresh eyes on it is a very good option that Art of Applying provides. And the fact that you can be ensured that your essay will go through your consultant as well as someone who's done this for longer and understands the process for longer, I think that's the peak level of confidence you can get with your application that you can get anywhere. Yeah.
Wonderful. And Harman, what advice or encouragement would you give to other applicants, maybe applying from the private sector, maybe other Indian applicants applying to policy school, just people that you think might watch this video and be like, oh, she's similar to me. You know, if it worked for Harman, can it work for me?
Right. So firstly, for the people from the private sector, you might feel that because you come from the private sector, policy schools might not look at you, but as someone who has worked in both the public and the private sector, I can assure you that skills are very similar and they intercross a lot. So if you have your heart set on a purpose bigger than your current role, but you know that your skills are needed there, then policy schools would be more than happy to listen to you. So don't get discouraged just by the fact that you come from private sector and want to go into public policy. For other Indian applicants, I would say that we all have our stories, and the crux lies in presenting them in the right way to these schools. And since we are not aware of a lot of context that American schools look for, or the language or the way of presenting your stories, that's something that we miss out on just by the virtue of being in a whole different country, which is fair. So that's something that I needed help with, and the Art of Applying helped me cross that. Just for that, I think the program is worth it, just guiding you through the American system of graduate school applications. If you can join the program, then I don't think there's better help out there to help you get to your dream school.
Wonderful. Thank you for saying that, Harman. That was just lit me up. Well, I am so excited for you. I'm proud of you. I'm grateful that you trusted us with your dream and that you chose us to be your partner in your application process. And I'm really excited to continue working with you over the next, I don't know, we've got probably like 12 days or so together left in your engagement, and just helping you think through the pros and cons of each school and your offers, and maybe trying to get some more money if we can out of the other schools. And
Right.
But no matter what, you've already had amazing results, and I think that you're going to inspire and encourage a lot of people who will listen to this interview or watch this interview and realize that, like, just like them, you were the one Googling and clicking around and watching videos, and now a year later, you are sharing your success story. So thank you so much for sharing your story, Harman.
Of course, and thanks to you, Kanisha, and your team for helping me with everything.
Thanks for watching our video. For more videos just like this, make sure you click subscribe. And if you want to work with us on your graduate school applications, visit us at theartofapplying.com or click on the link below in the description.